Good afternoon, everybody. I really want to say a huge thank you for joining us this lunchtime to help us launch the OxGROW virtual mentoring platform. Like I said, I'm Sally Andreou, Skills Hub Manager at I'm delighted to welcome you, and we're really excited to share our developments and how we're going to try and help support job seekers in Oxfordshire be successful in their recruitment and actually help them navigate what can be a very challenging landscape. And like Mel said, we will be recording it so other people who can't attend and appreciate it some half-term week and some people can't join us, it's going to be recorded so we can then send the recording over to them so they can sign up to be mentors. Mel, could you turn the next slide over? Thank you. So just to give you a bit of an overview, so I'm going to be introducing the social contract programme which this platform sits within, and really give you just a little bit of a background as to what the programme really is doing. We're going to be then handing over to Ben Payne, who's the Apprenticeship Manager at Oxford County Council, who Ben's very kindly already agreed to sign up as a mentor, and really hear from him why he's taking part and why their team are taking part in this. Then we're going to hear from Emma Hicks at Connectr about the importance of being a mentor, and then here actually you get to see the platform from Paul and Rameen, and then we're also going to have a call to action. So while we're doing the presentation, please put any questions that occur to you in the chat. We're going to just then review it at the end and be able to go through with Connectr team and ourselves if you've got anything you need to clear, that's anything unclear and what needs to be helped in next steps. So thank you. So really, just to give you a bit of a background on the social contract programme, we kicked this off in spring and it's running till March 2024. It's financed through the Contained Outbreak Management Fund, and it's really looking at how we can support people that are within groups that have been mostly impacted through COVID. And that's young people about 16 to 24-year-olds, minority ethnic groups, those furthest from the labour market, and the over 50s. And it's in relation to unemployment, barriers to employment, education and training. Part of this programme, and it's a £1.7 million programme, is actually we've also just launched our new Limits programme. We've actually commissioned Sophia, and Sophia have got food larders running across Oxfordshire. And we are funding triage workers that are going to be working with food larder customers to give them support, advice and support if they need it on skills and employment. And this is where we think that some of the potential mentees can be signposted to, is to really get those people that are nearest the workforce, that almost work ready, to then be menteed and have any advice and guidance that mentors can support through this platform. Other organisations that we are working with, excuse me, as well are Aspire and obviously Department of Work and Pension and the National Career Service and FedCap. So the organisations, hopefully we can encourage them to sign potential mentees to the platform to just give them a little bit of help and advice from the industry professionals, just to help them navigate what can be a very challenging landscape. And I think that's really that's kind of my slide really. I'm going to hand over to Ben to talk about why he's actually agreed to become one of our first mentors. Thanks, Ben.
No worries. Thank you, Sally. Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Ben Payne. I'm the Apprenticeship Manager at Oxfordshire County Council. I was first approached by Sally in relation to this programme. You know, we work fairly closely together, OxLEP and OCC. And when I first heard about it, I thought, what a programme. The idea of being able to support individuals who have potentially been affected by the pandemic, whether they maybe been in a career for life and actually been made redundant due to the pandemic or the economic climate currently, who haven't necessarily had the exposure to interviewing or applying for different roles or really presenting themselves in a way that they feel comfortable, or potentially young people that haven't actually had the opportunity to actually apply for roles yet or gain that work experience that they need or life experience to apply for different positions to further grow their personal development and career in a whole. For me personally, the idea of being able to support individuals with developing not only them in terms of communicating with them, but also being able to ready them so that they can apply for different roles, for me is a no-brainer personally. And when Sally first talked to me about it, the first thing I said is, I'll definitely be signing up and my team will be signing up as well. The idea of being able to support people with not only our experiences but our expertises as professionals, to be able to support them with that grey area of what is this, how do I approach this? If I've got a blank page, you know, there's a lot of fear that can be induced there. So for me, what I've done is I've talked to my team, and we've had a really good chat, and we've identified what different attributes we can provide this mentor scheme. So we've assessed who's best and who's got most experience in relation to interviewing questions, who's best at creating presentations and going through and being able to identify how to best put their case forward for applying for roles, and who's best at actually applying their knowledge and experience at developing CVs. And together we sort of came to get to the realization that actually we've got a plethora of experience. And again, it backs up the idea that why aren't we helping people that need to get their foot in the door, need to get that first step in potentially another career for life? For me, the mentor scheme is really going to be hopefully a shining star, which demonstrates different employers and different individuals across the county supporting other members and sort of users of this service within the county to take that first step in their career or next steps in their career. For me personally, the idea of going through this stage again in life when I was younger and applying for my first role, having that additional support and insight in relation to what you should be saying, what you should be doing and how you should be presenting yourself would have been invaluable. I think there's a lot of areas these days where people don't necessarily get that support, and it's quite assumed that actually you should know that and you should be able to demonstrate that. It's quite simple skills probably in our eyes, but let's be honest, that's probably because we're the experts and we've gone through the interview process trying to get people to start in our teams. We've gone through supporting maybe other teams in interview processes, or even just reviewing sort of initial applications. And it's that insight that's valuable to support the next wave of people that really need that support to get through to where they want to go. And on the mentoring platform itself, and I know later in the presentation we're going to go into a lot more detail about that, I've put my quote as strive to thrive. And the reason I did that is because I think it's quite easy for people to sit there and go, I'll apply for anything. And ultimately, that's anyone's decision to do. But for me, I want to empower people to know that actually, let's look at your experience. Let's talk about what you've got in relation to your competencies, and let's think about how we can best portray that in this platform to support the users of it. And for that, really, I just can't imagine a better reason to sign up as a mentor. If you've got a particular area that you think, do you know what, actually, I may not be as well exposed to this area, but I can definitely support in this. That's the reason you should become a mentor. We need those people to support our county and our community to better themselves as the workforce of the future. So like I say, me and my team are signing up. My two colleagues that will be signing up will be setting up their profiles in the next week or so. And we're really looking forward to being able to support. I've talked to OxLEP and the team, and realistically, you know, from a manager's point of view or a sort of professional point of view, it's not going to be too taxing in relation to time, and that time that you spend is going to be put through a sort of specialized system where you can best allocate your time, and the users can really interact with you. And I think, you know, for me, it's all about that interaction and that support, knowing that there's someone potentially when you send a message out on this platform that is there to support you and can actually offer that support. We don't really have that at the moment, and I think back again when I was younger, applying for roles, if someone could have just told me not to copy and paste paragraphs in presentations and make the interviewers read every single word, or me just, you know, depict what that is, I think those skills and that insight is really it's really important. So for me, I just want to say that's why we're signing up. I think there's going to be some really sort of fluid adaptability in relation to how we apply ourselves and how we can support in this scheme. But I would just sort of, I know call of actions later, but I would definitely endorse you guys setting yourselves up as mentors for sure. And if you have any questions, obviously, please put them in the chat in relation to any other aspects of why we're doing this or what we're trying to achieve. It's really about that social engagement and really trying to support, even if it's not directly for us, it's about upskilling the county and making sure that we get talent into organisations that can support and make the county flourish. So thank you. That's me.
Thank you so much, Ben. That's brilliant. And I'm going to then lead you on to Emma. Emma.
Thank you, Sally, and good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Emma Hicks, and I'm Chief Commercial Officer at Connectr, and we are literally so delighted to be working with OxLEP and all of you as we launch this groundbreaking platform with a very clear social purpose. Connectr's values are entirely aligned with the social contract programme and the work of OxLEP and the wider sort of stakeholder groups that are supporting this. Just a bit about us. So our mission at Connectr is to provide everyone with equal power and opportunity to shape their future. And actually, we started out over a decade ago working with young people from underrepresented backgrounds to gain, employability skills and boost their prospects by making meaningful connections through mentoring, and that continues today. And we partner with a whole range of organisations across sectors and industries to deliver tangible impact. And some of the core stuff that we focus on is D&I, attraction and retention of talent through our platforms and wider service offerings. So that's us. So next slide, please. So it would sort of be useful just to share a particular programme of work that we did, and I think it's one of the main reasons that we were selected to work with OxLEP. In addition, obviously, to our expertise in mentoring, and as part of kind of emerging from the pandemic, we launched a new programme in partnership with Job Centre Plus called Get Into Work, and it was all around supporting unemployed people who had been hit hardest by the pandemic. And this has expanded into a range of partnerships with employers and with government agencies, and really looking for that diverse sort of pipeline of talent with a clear kind of CSR thread underpinning it. As we've sort of seen the different socio-economic shifts, I mean, it's just crazy at the moment, isn't it, in terms of what's happening at a wider level. This work is continuing, and I think what we're doing with OxGROW is really trailblazing, and we are determined to deliver impact with your support as mentors. Next slide, please. So you're probably thinking, right, what's in it for me? And I think Ben obviously summed up beautifully, why he is interested in getting involved, why he's signed up already, and why his colleagues are doing the same. But to give you some reassurance, you're all very busy people. And I think, Paul and Rameen will bring this to life in the demo, that the approach that we have, it's quite light touch. It doesn't mean that it's not meaningful. And so the connections that you'll make with mentees who are reaching out to you, you will be able to give them a wealth of expertise, and they'll probably talk to multiple mentors. So that usually is what we see, because people want to see tap into different ranges of expertise and work with different types of role models. But the sort of matching process is very clever. So again, Paul and Rameen will bring that to life. I think one of the other things as well is this sort of idea of mentoring with purpose and in the moment of need. So even though it's light touch, it's quite instant, but you can control your availability. So if you feel that you have sort of hit capacity in terms of your mentee relationships, you can control that. And again, the guys will show you that on the demo. And that won't impact the existing mentee relationships that you've got, but it means if you've got a particular project or you're on leave or whatever, you're busy people, you can kind of control that. And for your business, I think another aspect is talent. So there's a dearth of sort of skills, there's skills gaps happening as well. And being able to meet and make these connections might also have an added benefit around that. And it's also good for your brand, supporting the local community. And I think it's easy to think, well, the mentees will get a lot out of it. But speaking as a mentor myself, it's amazing how much I learned through the process of working with a range of different people in my mentee circles. So hopefully that adds weight to what Ben was saying around, you know, why would I join up? You know, it's brilliant. And the kind of next slide or the next couple of slides sort of show you from a data perspective, there's industry leading research that demonstrates how powerful mentoring is. There are tangible benefits for individuals and for businesses as well. Next slide. Yeah, as you can see. So there's things around productivity, obviously retention. So, you know, from Ben's perspective, getting his colleagues involved is also great for them, obviously, as it is for the people that are being mentored. And across all of the different sort of partner relationships that we work with, this is a brilliant stat. 91% of mentors who use it go on for another year. You know, that's how much they enjoy it. And it isn't a time drain. It's something that is very valuable. The other thing that you'll be supported by as well is there's bite-sized content on the platform that you can access as mentors. And that's there to help you get the most out of your mentor relation or your mentoring relationships as well. And again, the guys will show you it's very bite-sized, so really quick, short bursts of learning, but it is to support you and, you know, help you feel confident in terms of getting the most out of those mentoring relationships. Next slide, please. Great. So again, there's just some more stats that I thought I'd share with you. Again, that we've collated. We work with, obviously, with our partners, and we speak to our users all the time. And we're always measuring the impact through the reporting capabilities of the platform. So again, you know, there's some significant outcomes, again, that will encourage you, I hope, to see the value in doing this for you and your businesses. So, you know, giving back. Volunteering, a lot of organisations are doing that, and it's something that they do as part of their CSR and development opportunities for their colleagues. There's some great stats around diversity, which you can see, and also promotion that works again both for the mentees and for the mentors. So benefits, reciprocal benefits all round. Great, so that's me. I'm now going to hand over to my colleagues, Paul and Rameen, to actually bring it to life for you and obviously show you what you will experience when you sign up and you go onto the OxGROW platform. So over to you, Paul and Rameen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Emma. Yes, so we'll just try and show you the platform actually now. So let me just share my screen. Just to introduce myself, I'm Paul Holden. I sort of have two roles actually. I sort of look after the customer success practice here at Connectr, but I'm also a customer success manager for OxLEP as well. So and I'll let Rameen introduce himself when we come to his section, but let me just bring the, is that okay? Can you see that okay?
Yes,
we can, Paul.
Paul.
Yes, thank you. Fabulous, thank you. So how we thought we'd structure this is, first of all, I just wanted to show you the landing page. So when you visit the OxGROW URL, which you can see at the top there, you go to our landing page. Then there are sort of two different views you have, one as a mentee and one as a mentor, all based on the same platform, all seeing similar data. But what we thought we'd do is show you both. So we'll go through just take you through the what the landing page looks like and what's on our basic page. Then I'll connect as a mentee and I'll show you some of the content that the mentees and the job seekers have. Also their view of the mentors and how they will be looking and interacting with mentors. So I'll show you that first, and then I'll send a message to a mentor, Rameen, and then he can show you what it looks like from a mentor perspective. And that's how we thought we'd structure it today. When you go into our landing page, initially I'm not signed in here, so this is just a landing page you can see, and most of the content here, as you can see, is locked and you can't get to it. You can learn a little bit more about the page though. If you click on the About page, you can learn a bit more about what the Connectr is, and for example what the social impact programme is, and you can just drill in and have a look at that. So you can learn a bit about the page without actually registering and connecting. If we scroll down, you'll learn a little bit more about some of the functionality that we have within Connectr as well. You can see a bit about mentors and mentees and the modules. The bit I wanted to show you really is the feedback bit though. So if you have any problems at all when you're using the application, there are two ways to sort of contact us. One is via the feedback button here at the bottom. So if I click on that, you can send a message, just provide your email, and any question that you've got, and that'll go to our support team to look at, and we'll come back to you quickly with an answer. So that's one way. The other way, something that's been released very recently, actually, it's a new intercom feedback method. So this bottom, at the bottom right hand corner here, if you click on that, you get access to some pre-built articles. So there's a lot of content here that you might be able to find your answers for. You can start searching yourself, and you might be able to answer it just with the content that exists on intercom. Alternatively, again, you could send a message. And this is a quicker response time, so you can get a response time typically under 3 hours, hopefully quicker than that, by using this method as well. So if you have any questions or any sort of issues at all using the application, please use those and we'll get onto them as soon as we can. Then what we'll do is, as a mentee, they need to register. So they'll go to this site and they would click register. They just provide a brief bit of information about themselves, just name and a few bits of just key information that we need. And then they get access to the platform. And this is what it'll then look like. So I'll sign in now as a mentee. And this is what they'll see. So this is our landing page when you logged in. On the page here, you basically see a summary of what's happening in your activity. So there's a number of modules, as Emma was describing. These are just sort of bite-sized bits of content that are designed to help one use the platform and how to engage with the platform, what it's about, but also how to engage with mentees, but also some skills actually about helping them find jobs and positions. But you can see a summary here. So of the content that's available, I've started it, and you can see that I'm halfway through this first module, welcoming and connecting with a mentor. And of the total content, I'm 6% through all the content that's available. So it gives you the ability to track progress and how am I doing. If I'm messaging a mentor as well, I can see that I've got a message back from a mentor. And there's 2 ways of seeing that. You can see it here in that home page, you'll be able to see that I've got a message back from a mentor, but also this envelope at the top right hand corner as well. You can access messages that way. Whilst I'm here, I'm just going to explain what the other 3 buttons are. So the bell, that's for notifications. So if new content is made available, you'll see that and you'll get a notification to say, actually, there's a new module being released. You might be interested in going and looking through that to try and help. The other one here is this one, if you want to change any of the settings about yourself, so if you want to go and change any of your personal details, you can go into here, get access to the settings and start changing some of the configurations if you want to as well. So next I want to do is just, so we've already sort of looked at the about, so we've looked at some of the standard FAQs, but just wanted to show you what the modules look like and the content that will be available to the mentees when they access the platform. So there's all sorts of variety of content we've got here. It's, as Emma said, it's just bite-sized small bits of content, all designed to help them use either the application or to help them with their job seeking process. There's also a module about looking at specifically working in and around Oxfordshire, but also then some of the softer skills and the skills that are important. So if you haven't actually been looking for a job recently or not gone through the process, these are all designed to try and help you, give you a bit of confidence based on experience and things that they might see. So when they're talking about testing, some of the testing that they might experience, it just gives you a bit of background and then opportunity to go through it and see what it's used for. Also how to make their application stand out, or if they're going through interviewing, how to think about some of the questions and the scenarios that they might want to bring into an interview as well. So they're all designed to sort of help them. I'll just show you one quickly. These are very small. So I've completed the first one. You can then go into what is a mentor. And this just goes through and explains a little bit about mentoring. They're just very small bite-sized chunks. They're either text in this form, they could be videos. Sometimes they're questions asking you to sort of put a preference in and select something, but they just help to and designed to be sort of small, easy to digest and engaging as well, just to try and help and share information. The last thing I wanted to show is the mentor bit. So you won't see this as a mentor, but this is the view that the mentees will see. So all the mentors who are on the platform, you'll be able to see. So you'll be able to see all their bios of the various mentors on the platform. If you want to if you're interested, so I can see Rameen here, I want to sort of look a bit more, I can view profile and I can drill in and see a little bit more about Rameen and just read about his background and what he's done. And from that one, I can decide, is he somebody I want to engage with or not? We hope in time there'll be lots of mentors on the page. So then you might want to actually filter this. You might say, well, actually, my background is teaching, so I want to see, is there anybody with a similar background to me that may be good for me to engage with? So there's a whole bunch of industries that we have pre-populated, and you can then just start filtering. So you say, okay, I'm interested in somebody maybe with an educational background. So when I apply that filter, I'm only seeing now mentors who've got that background. And this is what the industry bit. So when a mentor registers, they will also put in the industries that they've got, and that'll help with the matching process. So I could look at that, or I could reset and apply another filter. The beauty, and one of the really sort of the key points about the platform we've got, is the choice is in the mentee's hands. So they're not appointed a mentor. It's entirely up to them who they want to engage with. So they can look through the profiles, they can apply filters, and it's their choice. They can decide that actually I want to speak to Ben or to Sally based on what they've read and what their sort of preferences are. So it's nice that it's totally in their hands and it's in their choice. So they have chosen. I'm just going to go in now and click on Rameen. So I've viewed Rameen's profile and I want to engage with Rameen. So I'm going to send him a message. When we do this, when mentees message for the first time, it can be a little bit, what do I ask? What's a relevant question? So we have a number of pre-populated questions that they can choose if they want. When Ben was talking about CV writing or interviewing. So if you want to get a bit of advice on how best to do a CV, should it be a long CV, should it be a short, concise CV, whatever it might be, you can click on CV writing and it'll just give you a starting point of a question. So if they want, they can just send this question directly as it is, or they can make modifications. So they can click inside the text here and modify it. But these are the sorts of questions that you might expect as a mentor on the platform. So they can do custom, they can just create their own question entirely from scratch, or if they want a bit of help and a bit of a prompt into what a good question could be for a mentor, we have a bunch of templates that are available then. But I'm just going to now sort of show what that would be like, and then we can pass over to Rameen. He'll then show you what the mentor view is on the platform. So I'll go to CV writing. That question is absolutely fine. So I'm just going to go with the default question. I'm going to send Rameen a message to say, would you mind helping me? So that's now gone as a question over to Rameen. So if it's okay, Rameen, can I pass over to you now? You can sort of show the view from a mentor's perspective. I'll just.
Brilliant, cool. Screen should be showing. So similar landing page. If anyone can't see this, please do just flag up and let me know. As you can see, the message that Paul sent over to me. So we've signed in already. Everything's the same in terms of landing page and a signed out state. But when you land, you can see there's a couple of different things missing here. So you don't have this section on the right hand side which says last viewed mentor, because in this case, mentors don't look at other mentors, mentees don't look at other mentees. So a little bit of a tighter, more streamlined landing page, but Paul's messages come through in real time. And I've also, I sign into my mentor profile using my Gmail account. I've already received my email, which tells me that I've received a message. So there's two ways, one which Paul alluded to, which you can see in the notification up in this envelope top right, which tells me that I've got a new message, but also I can access it from my Gmail as well, and that will take me to the platform. So there's it's a two-pronged attack to get access to people on the platform. If we then go into either here or the envelope, Paul's message has landed here. So I can go back to him and say, Paul, you. And you can see there the red dots appeared up here because I've disappeared up here because I've answered my message as here. So it's working in real time. There's no delays to any of the prompters leaving, but Paul will have the exact same view now when he goes back into his landing page and an email as well. So people can turn around communications quite quickly. You can see here any messages that I did have outstanding have now disappeared. If we're thinking in a mentor's shoes, if typically they want to take on maybe 3 to 5 mentors at a time, it's going to be pretty easy to kind of tidy up your outstanding communications with any mentees that they do have on the go. You can see here there is also a little bit of content as well. So this is labeled as training. So it's training orientation. It can be configured, but mentors do have access to a few tasks which just basically let them know about becoming a digital mentor, what the role is anything to do with kind of safeguarding, how digital mentoring works. So there's a little bit there which people can always go back to and lean on, but it's a nice bit of reading for them to do when they first start on the platform. Apart from that, it's as simple as that. So as I mentioned, mentors can't speak to mentors, mentees can't speak to mentees. Any interaction is mentee-led. So that's why any emphasis that Paul was talking about in terms of having, strong detailed bios, filters, so that you can really narrow down that hopefully massive pool, massive field of mentors, just so people can start getting the right one. That's all I've got from the mentoring side of things.
Rameen, sorry to interrupt. Would you mind showing us the bit that Emma talked about where people can set their availability? So if somebody happens to be on leave for a week, how do you let your mentees know that you're not available? Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. So there's a couple of different ways you can do that. If you're kind of just interacting with a small few amount of mentees, typically you might actually just do a manual sign off and just say, hey Joe, just to let you know I'm going to be off for a week or whatever. But up here you can see this black label. So it's, at the moment we're listed as green. So that says our profile is available, but you can manage availability. So where it's toggled to the left here, I'll just zoom in just in case it's a bit small for people. Where it's toggled to the left here, that shows I'm available. Now there's two options if I toggle this to unavailable. Say I'm not actually on leave and I'm just at capacity with the amount of mentees that I've got, and I can't really afford to take on anything more than 5. If I click this here, I can still continue active messages. So I can still keep those relationships alive with my active mentees, but I'm just not available for any more new ones right now anyway. However, if you are on annual leave, for example, and you just know that you're not going to be able to access any of those messages or be able to answer those, click that, then you're at red. So if you turn that on, amber, which means you're only available for existing. If you're off, then it's completely unavailable, and that your profile will still show on mentee view. So if we would go back to Paul's screen, but it would shunt my profile all the way to the last page at the bottom, just kind of highlighting who's available, who's unavailable. So going back to that, I'm fully green and I'm welcome to take on new mentees as well as speak to existing ones as well.
Fantastic. Many thanks, Rameen. So we just, hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight into how the platform works. So we've kind of showed you what the mentees will see and then the view of the mentors as well, and just how easy it is. So it's a very light mechanism, really just designed to help the job seekers, just as they have a question in certain areas, they've just got the ability to be able to reach out to a mentor of their choice, just to ask small questions, just to try and help them through that process. So hopefully that's okay, but that's all we're going to show for the demo today. But if it's okay, I'll hand over to Ben then for the call to action.
Brilliant, thank you. That was a really great, insightful go through the platform. That was fantastic, thank you. So, call to action then, everyone. It's me again. So I think first of all, I just want to identify that what a platform. It's so easy to use. I've already used it myself, had a test through earlier in the week, and it's a breeze. It really, really is. Setting up your profile as a mentor, it couldn't be easier. And obviously, as you can see, it kind of has a social media sort of platform vibe to it as well, which kind of comes quite intuitive to a lot of users, which is fantastic. In terms of the sort of next point, time commitment, as we've gone through today on the call, we're not expecting this to be a full-time job for our mentors. It certainly isn't. The idea is that we can support when it suits us, but ideally in quite a minimal fashion, which is just fantastic. We can, complete our job roles without the overburdening sort of prospect that we're then going to be, expected to do 5 hours a week, whatever it may be. We're there to provide what we can provide, and that is invaluable to all the users. I think one of the biggest things that we need to think about is just engaging with the workforce of the future. These people that we're mentoring could potentially be colleagues that working in your organisation in the future. And I think that comes on to my next point, is that quite selfishly, it's a great way to up your presence as an organisation through different users in terms of mentees that are using this system. I think when they see those names and they see those organisations, it's only great free media in a big way as well. And I think that's not what it's about, but it's definitely a benefit for us. I think finally, or coming on to my sort of final points, it is a great way, and we've sort of touched on it in this call, it's a great way for, if you've got colleagues that you're sort of saying, do you know what, I think you'd be really great as a mentor for this platform. What a great way of development for them. You know, hopefully it'd be yourselves, but if you have got other team members that you say, right, I think you'd be really good as a mentor, I think it's be great for your next steps in development. And what an engaging way for us as employers, managers, organisations. And, you know, what an opportunity to share our knowledge, our experience, our expertise. And I think that's really fundamentally what it's all about. We've got it. You know, we're potentially in the jobs that we're really happy with. We're in a place in our careers potentially. And, you know, we might even be mentees of the future on this platform if we need to make our next steps in our sort of career development. So I think just keep an open mind. It's for everyone. And if you've got that experience, you know, why not embark, you know, give that to the person that needs it most. And I think really just to sort of round that all off, my last point is, why wouldn't you become a mentor? For me, there's no real reason why I wouldn't. The time commitment, that's great. You know, it's flexible and it's around me as a user, as a mentor. The platform's fantastic. It's really easy to use. We're providing our skills and expertise that we've developed through our careers and life experiences, and being able to be in a really privileged position where we can actually give that to other users that are sort of embarking maybe for the first time or having to revisit and having to touch up on those skills. We're here, you know. Potentially other parts of society haven't provided that, but we can. And I feel like for me as an obligation, if I've got that experience and I can provide it, I'm going to do that. And I think there's probably most people on this call probably agree with that. So I think for me, closing statement is, what a fantastic opportunity to not only support the workforce of the future, but also to support our county as a whole in terms of Oxfordshire. And why wouldn't you? I think more mentors we have, the better place will be to really make this project a success, and hopefully something that can surpass us using it, and for mentors in the future to come and join. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Ben. I think if you are happy to become a mentor, we can definitely set you up straight away. So if you would like to go ahead, please just pop your name in the chat, and the team at Connectr can set you up, which would be great. It'd be lovely to have some mentors up and populated straight away, so when we start getting mentees signposted, that we can then start really kicking this platform off and start using it. So thank you Olivia, that's really kind, and Nikki, thank you, this is great. So it's just brilliant to start getting this moving, and I really hope if you've got any questions now, start there's nothing in the chat I can see. Just to clarify, the platform is for people over 18. It's not for anybody younger, so that's just making sure that everybody's clear on that. So thank you, Kate and Caroline, for agreeing for that, and Sylvia. It's lovely to see all of those responses. So has anybody got any questions for us on regarding the platform?
While people are typing, Sally, there's just a question that came in from somebody who couldn't attend that maybe I could ask while people are thinking, if that's okay. Yep. It was about, is it possible to contact mentees outside of the platform, or do all the communications take place within the system itself?
I think we are recommending that all the communication actually happens on the platform, just for safety. We would prefer that all the communications are there, and really to try and continue, and so we can be able to support if there are any queries, to keep everything on the platform as far as possible. So I think there was a thank you.
Yeah, Caroline's got a hand up.
Hi, Caroline.
Hi. Yeah, it's going to be a similar question really. If it needed to lead on to sort of a video call or something to help with something more in depth, you think just actually stick to messages for now?
I think so, messages for now. I mean, we are piloting this, and I think that as the relationships develop, obviously we can then, you know, I think because it is over for over 18s, then it's really up to you. It's just a case that what we would recommend initially is certainly all of those engagements are kept to the platform, but recognising that sometimes it might be more preferable to do it via Teams or something like that, but that's very much outside of what we can offer. But you know, that's for you as professionals to know if that's better, if that you're better placed in doing it that way. But we obviously wouldn't recommend that you meet people face to face, just because, again, because they're people from outside, we don't know who they are necessarily from because they've been signposted from other agencies. So I think, you know, that's the kind of where we're coming from.
Thanks, Sally. And one other question that someone had asked in advance is around sharing resources. So if you're having a conversation with a mentee and they are, say, looking at CV, can you send an example CV, or can you upload files into the system, attachments?
Absolutely. So I think Paul can show us that actually, yes, you can send attachments through the platform. So you can send through CVs or cover letter templates or things like that. Paul, I don't know if you're able to show us that.
I'll probably hand over to Rameen on that one, who's a bit more au fait with that part of the platform, if that's okay.
So which bit do we need to be seeing it in? Sorry, a mentor-mentee view?
I think it can be from a mentor point of view, just the chat platform where you can actually see the conversation between the mentor and the mentee, and then you can there's the paperclip where people can send attachments.
Yeah, if you bear with me, I've just got to reopen my Microsoft Edge window, and I'll just share my screen for you. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Yep, cool. So in your messaging window here, you have your available conversation, and yep, we're available. Cool.
So it's just down at the bottom, isn't it, Rameen?
Yes, there's a kind of little paperclip there.
Yeah,
just down there. What it's not allowing me to do is click into it at the moment. In this case, I'll jump back over to my mentee profile. So the one I've got is my test account as well, so that's always got some attachments and caveats to it. But yeah, just down here, so you've got an attachment file here.
Yeah.
You can look at multiple. Yeah, so you can take any kind of files there. There's not really too much of a limit. I think there is nothing more than about maybe 50 megabytes. But we rarely get, we do a lot of work experiences. We do a lot of virtual induction weeks, something like that, where attachment submissions, anything like that do come onto the platform, and it's never really larger than about 50 megabytes. And if it is, then we normally brief that. So
perfect.
Another thing to flag up is we do have moderation in place. So it does flag up if you've got any keywords, swear words, grooming language, and then any communications of mobile numbers, email addresses, and postcodes. So any of that kind of gets dropped in and mentioned within any of the conversations. A flagged email will come through to us, and we can kind of take action on it depending on the nature of the message, the narrative. So where we do get kind of exceptions is if we speak to yourselves and there's some kind of a general inquiries, for example, perhaps this conversation at OxLEP type thing, then we'll communicate that with you. And if you say, yeah, that email address is fine from now on, then that just speeds up the process when we go to approve it.
Perfect. Thank you, Rameen. Sylvia, hiya.
Hi, just a quick one for me. Thanks very much. This is so great. In case of, so I will be circulating this to our team here at First Slice Fusion. If more people want to sign up, do I contact you, or is it something that you do through the portal as well?
Good question, actually. I mean, fantastic, great news. I'm excited to get you guys on board. It'd be brilliant. Certainly, we can send. I mean, this is going to be recorded, so if you want the team to have a watch the recording, we can also probably, if there's a large number of you, probably if we're happy to have a chat. But the Rameen and Paul can probably set up more links as mentors. If there's a group of people with their names, and we can just set them straight up and put them on the platform if that's what you would like to do. So definitely happy to have a conversation offline and see what support we can offer to get people on as mentors, and if there's any more training or information we can impart in order to make people aware of what the opportunity is, then yep, happy to do that. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. That makes sense. Thank you so much, Sally.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So thank you. I don't know if there's any more questions.
No, we don't have any more that have come in through the chat, but people can always drop us an email, skills@oxlep.com, if you think of anything that you haven't asked today, and we'll get back to you.
Fantastic. Just want to say thank you so much to the Connectr team for supporting us and being our very good friends and getting this platform developed. And thank you again for joining us this lunchtime in really supporting us on what is National Mentoring Day. So it's a brilliant timing. And thank you to Mel and Sarah P and the team for all of their support, and really look forward to working with everybody on this on the platform. It's going to be really exciting and going to be great just to seeing all the profiles up there and starting to get mentees through there and supported into what is amazing. I mean, some of the jobs we have in Oxfordshire are amazing, but really need to help people that are those furthest from the workforce into jobs. So thank you again. And I like to say, Mel said, any challenges, anything you want to really pick up on, there's our email address, it's skills@oxfordshirelep.com. But thank you so much for your time, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Cheers. Goodbye.
Bye.